Welcome back to JUCO Jam. This is season 2, episode 13. With me, as always, Brandon Goebel. Brandon, can you believe that the regular season is done? The calendar has flipped to March. We are entering playoff basketball.
I don't even know what happened. I don't know what happened. You know what did happen? The Thunder Ducks became part of our collective consciousness. That happened, but I don't know. I don't know how we got here per
Right.
se.
It felt like I was just watching grainy images of jamboree sessions. And
Hmm.
here we are preparing for Hutch. And between the two of us, we have all three divisions represented of the NJCAA.
Woo.
Florida Titans, you were representing both Division II, the Fighting Artichokes of Scottsdale, and of course, Mobius,
Mobius. The
Richland
Thunder.
Thunder Ducks. All right, without further ado, let's get right into the rewind. We had a terrific week of basketball. Let's start off Wednesday night in the Jayhawk. Coffeeville Hutch. Hutch gets a big win, 79-60 against Coffeeville. Four Blue Dragons in double figures. Cameron Thomas and Tino Simon each with 15 and 12. And then Callie and Cloud, 69-63 Callie. One of our favorite players, Jeff Nwankwo with 21 and 7. Corey Thomas, 13 and 14. The Tigers hit 29 out of 37 from free throws compared to Cloud, only 14 out of 22. Callie, big on the boards. They got a couple big guys with Nwankwo and Thomas out rebounded 37-27. Talk Wednesday Jayhawk action.
Yeah, getting down to the end here, kind of your last opportunities to have some signature wins to make an impact with the voters because yeah, both of these teams are right there for getting at large looks. There can be only one, as they say, that will come out of the Jayhawk as the automatic qualifier. So everybody else is going to have to put that resume up and getting impactful good wins here late is something that'll stick in people's minds.
Speaking of good wins, Thursday night, Salt Lake beat Snow 86-64. That eliminates Snow from the region tournament. Salt Lake was really, really good in this game. 32 out of 60 from the field. That's 53%. They only had 6 turnovers. That's a crazy statistic. CJ Luster with 24, Jordan Battle with 10 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. The Salt Lake team really seems to be clicking on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, I mean this was just a big time performance by Salt Lake. Snow usually a lot more adept at guarding. There you just kind of didn't have it towards the end of the season here. Just lost control of it a little bit. But still a very, very, very good team. And this is the type of win that Salt Lake is gonna, hang their hat on going into postseason play, saying, "Hey, we're ready."
Saturday, we turned to some really terrific basketball. Good win for Northwest Florida, 87-69 over Gulf Coast. And then we had just an amazing night slate of action. And I want to start with the Indian Hills game. Indian Hills won 93-72 over Triton, a Triton team that had only been defeated one time. Indian Hills playing without their superstar, Travion LeBeau. Indian Hills out rebounded Triton without Travion, 41-26. That was a huge factor in the game. Four Warriors in double figures. The Kannapolis kid, Kenai Briggs with 25. TJ Morris had a great game. I think we're kind of all waiting for that moment for him with 20 points. Braden Sparks, 18 points, 8 assists. And our man, Chris Impaka, with 11 points, 12 rebounds. And for Triton, they're All-American Amar Aguilar with 21, AJ Dixon with 14 and 10. The Firm, as we like to call them, held to 59 points. What were some of your big takeaways from Ottumwa?
Uh, you know, you and I have kind of talked about this and run the numbers and just we watch a lot of basketball from both of these teams. And Indian Hills has kind of remained somehow, some way, I would say underrated, given their, I believe, 13 wins, 13-4 record against teams that are ranked or receiving votes, somewhere in that ballpark, which I believe is tops in the country for wins. And so we joked all season about Coach Polona setting Coach Sash up with quite the gauntlet this season. And man, I mean, all of that work, all of that playing, all of that up and down and toughness throughout the season really kind of all came to a head here when you can beat a very, very, very good Triton team by 21 points without your star player. Again, we're talking about teams looking for those signature wins late to kind of show everybody, hey, we're ready, we're locked in. Um, Boy, they sure did that. Again, the firm 59 points from those four guys, big time. Triton is going to be in the tournament. They are a very, very dangerous team. And so, I think coach will probably look at this and say, "Hey guys, we need the fifth and sixth and seventh man to step up here as well. Like this can't just all be the firm, otherwise we're going to run into this." And they have to defend better.
Right.
Um, they have to defend better. They can't just go out and outscore everybody. And I'm sure that will be a big part of Coach Burns's conversation this week.
Staying in tropical Iowa this time of year, we had another big game, Southeastern and Moberly. Southeastern maybe surprised Moberly. Big win, 71-64. Moberly starters scored all 64 of the points for them. I think one of the interesting things, I talk about, the guys 5, 6, and 7 stepping up. How about, 6, 7, 8, nothing from the bench. But one of the things I find so interesting about this is, did Southeastern kind of find their stride? Because there's talent on that roster. And if they get past Marshalltown, we get Southeastern Indian Hills round 3. And one
Yep.
thing that we know in junior college basketball, it's really hard to beat anybody 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in the NJCAA or the NCAA or the NBA, beating teams three times is difficult. And, it's absolutely a matchup that could very well happen. And that's a confidence boosting win for Southeastern. You don't want a confident Southeastern team coming into the building if you're Indian Hills, but as we just talked about, Indian Hills pretty confidence boosting win against Triton there. So, watching a third round matchup, the fans aren't going to hate it. I can tell you that because how fun is that game?
It's great for fans, which is what we're all about. It's great for the sport. It's going to be a packed Hellier Center if we get to see round 3, Blackhawks, Warriors. And not to be outdone, we go out west. We go to Kansas. Barton 91, Hutch 78, and a really important game for both teams. Tino Simon with 20 and 10. Hutch played without Cameron Edwards with a sprained ankle. Barton really good on the boards against a really good rebounding Hutchinson team, 42-38. Barton only had 8 turnovers, similar to Salt Lake, right? When you're playing games at this level, having less than 10 turnovers this time of year, that's really impressive. Barton is like the most balanced team in the country. It's like they have 11 guys who can beat you, but 6 Cougars in double figures. Leger Jones with 19 and 14. The big lefty just continues to really impress. Any big thoughts here on Barton Jayhawk action?
Tough for Hutch without Cameron Thomas. He's such an important part of that roster. Such an impactful player. But this was an opportunity for them to maybe go out and just try and steal one that would have meant a lot. But credit to
Nothing to lose, right? Nothing to lose, everything to gain.
yeah,
It doesn't hurt
yeah.
you. I mean, Barton's
Credit
really
to Barton for just holding serve and saying, hey, but Barton's not trying to just like walk into the tournament. Barton's trying to win a national championship. And,
absolutely.
you know, getting late here, people are thinking ahead to the conference tournament. They're thinking ahead to Hutch. That's an easy situation to kind of, trip over yourself. Coach Coombs had him ready to go.
Sunday in a hugely important game. North Dakota State College of Science wins the region tournament over Dawson 90-70. Benjamin Fort comes off the bench with 28, hit 4 out of 5 3-pointers. Peyton Newbern with almost a triple double, 21, 10, and 6, 21, 10, and 6. And Calvin Sisk, the big fella, all 7'2" of him with 9 and 11. And then North Dakota State College of Science, they will travel to the winner of the Iowa region for a 1-game district championship. And NDSCS, they're going to be a very formidable opponent, and they will be ready for whoever the Iowa winner is.
Yeah, North Dakota Sciences is very good, and it's difficult to kind of play the non-conference schedule that maybe you would hope to be able to try and play to really really get in the conversation for an at-large berth. It's not their fault. It's geographic issues there, so just tough to do. So they're probably going to have to win that Iowa game. But hey, if there's a team that can do it in the past few years, it's these guys. They are loaded. They have a lot of dynamic, different kinds of players that can do a lot of different things. And yeah, having that 7'2" Calvin Sisk who can really move, he can rebound. You don't see that very often in JUCO. Now, a lot of times you don't see it very often in JUCO because when you're 7'2", it's just difficult to do anything, right? But if they do wind up in a matchup with Indian Hills or something like that, Indian Hills has true bigs as well. That could be a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not even sure if we're still in the rewind or we're in the rundown because normally we record these shows on Monday. Today is not Monday when we're recording, it is Tuesday. Um, so we might be in the rewind, we may be in the rundown. Time will
We don't
tell.
know. We don't know.
Yeah, we have Alexa for that. But last night we had four really, really great games, and we're going to start in the great state of Florida. Daytona State 83, Florida Southwest 82. Daytona State was down huge in the second half. I think it was 15, 17 points. And then Daytona State, chip away, chip away, chip away. And Mr. Panov with the basket at the buzzer to seal the deal for Daytona State. But five players in double figures. Josue Grion with 19 and 6, Kylan Green, 18 points, 8 assists. Struggled from the field. They, as a team, they hit 6 out of 28 from three. Florida Southwest was really good. Jay Sean Thomas led the way, 23 points, hit all four of his 3-point attempts. Des Lindsay with 19 and 7. This was a game that felt like it could have been a Final Four game in the NJCAA tournament, and Hutch, two just really good teams going at it. Great late surge by the Falcons.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think this is one of those games that just kind of highlights we're only going to get to see three of these guys at Hutch. And realistically, you can go five deep, easily saying, deserving teams, talent wise, at least, and how difficult this region has been and things like that. So, big ups to Daytona for coming back late there. Josue just almost seems like he gets out of bed and can turn it on at any moment. Special player. And Florida Southwestern absolutely capable of just ripping through the tournament and finding their own way to Hutch by winning the conference there. So it's
And
going to
ripping through Hutch,
yeah,
right?
and ripping through Hutch.
They're good enough to win Hutch. They're good
Right,
enough to
right. I
win the
mean,
whole thing.
that's how good Region 8 is this year. And Region 8, consistently. And so, unfortunately you only get to see three of these guys, but if you said right now which three are you going to pick to make it, I'm going to say I have no idea and I'm not stepping in your trap. So
Even if we would say, we would have to edit it out because because we enjoy the state of Florida and we would like to travel to it again in the future. We had some great games in Texas last night too, Brandon. Clarendon had a huge win for them, 83-77 over Midland. Midland had five players in double figures. They got a lot of shots up. This was one of the craziest stats. 27 out of 75 from the field. That is a ton of shots in a game that wasn't played at an incredibly fast pace either. For Clarendon, Jalen Booknight came off the bench with 25 points. Dior Johnson was 17 and 8. Leonard Taylor with 21 and 7. So if I have done my work correctly, if Clarendon beats New Mexico on Thursday night, Clarendon is number 2 in the whack jack because I've done the math, because they would be both 11 and 5 with Odessa, and they beat Odessa twice.
So Odessa third,
So that would mean Odessa would be third.
and who's fourth?
That's a great question. Mexico right now is one game ahead of Midland.
Wow.
So yeah, there's going to be a flow chart involved. Maybe we can attach that.
We have yarn and push pins.
Exactly.
So,
An abacus is involved, but too close to call, right? We have 5 teams for 4 spots that get to go to the region tournament. Once again, 5 teams that could all win the region tournament and do well in Hutch. But big win for Clarendon. We all know, and when you go to Clarendon in the house that Hunter built,
Hell in a cell, baby.
a lot of people enter the Thunderdome, very few leave victorious. They're really good at home, and just so happens Thursday night They will be at home when the New Mexico Thunderbirds come to visit. Also,
Thunderbirds at the Thunderdome.
ooh,
Must watch TV.
must watch. Can't miss that.
Yeah.
Um, also, last night, South Plains 63-60 in a barn burner against Odessa. Demons Woods with 14 and 11. Esau Pippa White with 14 and 6 assists for Odessa. And then Jabari McGee, I felt like really was awesome in the second half. Ended up with 17 points. Malik Ewan also with 17 points and 6 rebounds. And maybe two of the best dunks we've seen in junior college basketball all season long. Um, really good win for South Plains and a great effort by Odessa. And who knows, maybe we get round 3 of that in the region tournament.
Yeah, slow start to the game for everybody. South Plains down at half. Just a rock fight and heck of a job by South Plains coming back and grabbing the win there. I think, like we talked about earlier, confidence, right? Like you don't want to have their first slip up of the year against Howard there, and then not all that long later, the second one comes and you just it's a mental thing with anybody that's ever played sports, knowing that you get that in the back of your mind, like, are we starting to kind of lose control of what we had earlier? So this was a big, big, big win for South Plains to really kind of drive in that confidence. Obviously, they're going to be the number one team going into the conference tournament. But like you said, any one of those 4 teams, whichever it ends up being, making it into the regional tournament, can win the thing.
Absolutely. And our last game for last night, Connor State at NEO, maybe the game of the night. It's hard to pick one, but Connor State wins 77-73 in overtime. Connor State just like kept punching and kept punching, and NEO would just come right back and they'd hit a three, and it was just back and forth, made for amazing television. But at the end, Buddy Hammer Jr. seals the deal as he blocks the shot off the board, and Connor State ends up victorious. It was a fantastic game between two teams who are probably legitimate top 15 teams. And even though they don't get a lot of hype, if either of these teams gets to the national tournament, they're going to be a team that nobody wants to face. NEO plays that really good zone. Connor State, Braden Hubbard with Buddy Hammer. Um, Pretty formidable inside. So these are two talented teams. Hopefully, one of them gets to the national tournament. They'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, Connors is, I would still say off the radar for most of the national consciousness. And any of the teams that they would be facing in Hutch, they're not going to have watched a drop of film probably on them until it's really ready. So NEO, like you said, really well coached. Jeremy Jackson does a phenomenal job there. That zone drives people bananas. To the point where when they're playing in jamborees and things like that, there's agreements that like, hey man, can you play some man for a half so we can
Right.
kind of prepare for it? And the wonderful Jeremy Jackson tends to acquiesce to that, but they will not be acquiescing if they make it to Hutch. They're gonna slap you with that zone. So
There will be no gentleman's agreement
there will
of
be no gentleman's agreements at all in that situation. So yeah, either one of these teams makes it through. That's going to be somebody you're not going to want to see on your side of the bracket.
and then quickly we'll finish up here. Wednesday night, Cali Butler, and then a big one in Region 14, Trinity Valley versus Panola. And then, as we previously mentioned, Thursday night, Whack Jack regular season comes to a close. New Mexico Clarendon, Midland, South Plains. Any closing thoughts on those final 4 matchups in the rundown?
Circling that Trinity Panola game, that one could probably be the most impactful for what sorts of decisions are made later on when it comes to at-large bids and things like that. Cali Butler, very dangerous team. Cali just trying to keep that engine going. New Mexico Clarendon, like we talked about, obviously having important impact on who makes it to the regional tournament. And then Midland South Plains, for Midland, trying to get into the tournament there, South Plains just wanting to keep their foot on the gas.
Yeah, Midland has to win. Like there's no, if they want their season to continue, they have to beat South Plains in Loveland. No small ask. Okay, guys, when we return, Brandon and I are going to do something that we probably shouldn't do. We are going to release the very first annual JUCO Jam All American teams. And unbeknownst to each other, we do not know who the other person has selected. You're going to hear it from us first after this.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. This is the first annual JUCO Jam All-American team. And this was really, really hard. So we did it just the way the NJCAA does it. We're going to pick 10 people each. We don't know who the other has chosen. And we're going to see if we have any unanimous JUCO Jam All-Americans between us. My lucky number has always been number 21. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's always been my number. So quickly, I'm going to run through 11 guys who I had 11 through 21 who didn't make it. It's a way of saving face to maybe I can, appear in some places.
Wait, before we get into this, though, we have to have the disclaimer that depending on which way it is, we do absolutely either love or hate you, whichever it is, clearly, obviously. And this is all Nick's fault. So
clearly. And we're not excluding anyone. We're just highlighting certain people.
Right. Right.
We just want to shine the light on some people because we can't shine the light on all. So this is going to be in alphabetical order. So this is like my top 21. This is 11 through 21 in alphabetical order. Leger Jones at Barton, Des Lindsay at Florida Southwestern, Joey Madimba at Howard, Jabari McGee at South Plains, Josh Mayo at Mineral Area, Michael Osei-Bonsu at Vincennes, Tino Simon at Hutch, LeBron Thomas of Vincennes, Cameron Thomas of Hutch, Demarion Walkup of Olney Central, and Martell Williams of Utah State Eastern. All right, no spoilers. No spoilers.
Now, wait, I had a lot of those too. I was unaware we were doing the 11 through 21, so I had a lot of those. But I'd like to add two. I'd like to add Rayshawn Seamster from Arizona, and I'd like to add Jay Shane Woodard from Indian River to that list, which maybe one of them is on your list of the final 10. I don't know. We don't know because we didn't talk about it.
Now, of the 11 names that I mentioned, without naming specifics, were any of my 11 in your top 10 All-American list?
Oh, we're about to find out, buddy. We're about to find out. Things are about to get interesting here at the JUCO Jam. And at the end of the show, I will hand out Nick Nielsen's cell phone number so all of you can message him and tell him how much you love him.
And I think we will give away the big Honey Chipotle Chicken Crisper National Player of the Year Award today as well.
We can do that. I'm prepared. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I think we can name someone as the big crisper. All right, here we go. Here's my All-American team. Alphabetical.
Wait, we're doing one at a time, right? We're doing one at a time?
We'll do one at a time, nice and slow. And slow. Okay.
Mine are not in alphabetical order. But they also are in no order. So
okay. Do you want me to name all 10 of mine first and then you go, or just back and forth, back and forth?
I think we got to go back and forth. Now, I guess maybe what we'll do, does everybody like how we're just making this up on the fly, by the way? What we'll do is if you name one and I have that same guy, then
they immediately become a unanimous JUCO Jam All-American selection.
It's true, but I'll just go ahead and that'll be the next person that I say I'll confirm. I'll confirm. I'll be a confirming.
You'll either confirm or deny.
Yeah.
All right. First, I have Owen Aquino, Eastern Florida, 15.6 points a game, 8.5 boards, 4.2 assists, 32% from three, 60% from the free throw line. Do you agree he is a unanimous JUCO Jam All-American?
He is a unanimous JUCO Jam All-American, pass dribble shoot at 6'8", Spanish national team guy, the stick that stirs the drink down there in Melbourne. And when you're sitting on the beach and having a drink, that's the guy that you want playing at the high post for you. So Owen Aquino.
Completely agree. Second selection that I went with,
Mhm.
Amar Aguilar, Triton, 21.5 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, 2 boards, 44 from three, 78 from the free throw line.
Also a unanimous decision. Nobody knows how to say his last name. We're just making it up as we go. Part of the profound and definitively difficult to guard the firm. And I would say, the head of the firm, right? Like he's
For
the,
sure.
yeah, the head of the firm. Phenomenal player and definitely somebody that has every possibility to just explode in Hutchinson, Kansas.
All right. Number 3, Jordan Battle, Salt Lake. 14 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 46 from three, 80% from the free throw line. He has made some clutch shots throughout the season for Salt Lake.
He has. He very much has. He is, however, not a unanimous
Oh,
JUCO Jam All-American. So what we'll do here is now I will pivot to the next person on my list.
okay.
And
You don't have a list, do
give
you,
you a
Brandon?
name. No, I got my list right in front of me, but I didn't put the stats down, so I'm waiting for the stats thing to come up. So I'm killing some time with some
Well,
drama.
maybe I have the stats for you.
No, I got you right here. So next on my list, from the same squad, however, is CJ Luster. CJ Luster, 17 points per game, 48% from three on 7 attempts this year. Like that's just a different planet of shooting 3-pointers. And Kyle Taylor likes his threes. So CJ Luster, for me, an All-American this year, just 2 really good players on that roster, 2 guys that are going to make some noise at Hutch, and 2 very deserving names.
No wrong answers.
No wrong answers. No wrong answers.
So my next selection is Javante Coleman from Tonkawa. 26.5 points, 6.3 rebounds, 2.9 assists, 32% from three, 79% from the free throw line. Is Javante Coleman a unanimous selection?
He is not a unanimous selection. Great player, super impactful, putting up crazy numbers this year, but I went a little different direction. So my next guy on my list, and this was a hard one. This was a hard one. Like kind of when I made this selection, there was a lot of other names floating around, but I did end up going with Mr. Redshirt freshman Tawan Simpkins from Northwest Florida. Felt like, one of the top 10 teams in the country, probably the most consistent when it really mattered, that Chipola 45-41, whatever that was, basketball game-ish. Everybody kind of had a weird one that day, but he had some big games this year. I think he was kind of the rock for them, getting things done, putting them in a position they're in now. And so I went with Tawan Simpkins from
Love
Northwest.
that. My fifth selection, Malik Ewan, South Plains, 14.3 points, 9 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 64% from the free throw line. Do you have Malik?
Malik Ewan is a unanimous JUCO Jam All-American. I don't know what else to say about the kid. And what actually, here's what I'll say. I'll say that he was actually one of the players that I felt like developed the most this year as well. Defensively, there were a lot of things left wanting early on. He has become a really rock solid defender. He's very skilled. He's very athletic. He's very tough. And, he is absolutely one that South Plains has rallied around.
Absolutely. And when Jabari was out, he really almost played a lot of point guard role. Like he really facilitated a lot through the offense. So he's had a great season. Number 6 on my list, and I think number 1 in your heart, Josue Grion from Daytona State, 20.6 points a game, 6.4 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 36 from three, 76% from the free throw line.
Josue has it his way as a JUCO Jam All-American.
Yes.
Big guard that just gets it done. We talked about earlier, just wakes up and goes out and finds a way to win. Awesome kid. Coach Cantons has done a phenomenal job with him and absolutely on my list for an JUCO Jam All-American selection.
Number 7, going back to the state of Oklahoma, Mr. Hubbard at Connor State, 25.6, 10.5 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 38% from three. And I believe he has the top free throw percentage on my list at 86.2.
Love Braden Hubbard. Braden Hubbard, right, probably 11 for me, but not a unanimous JUCO Jam All-American. Little pivot here. Trying to see if one of these maybe was not. For me, here's one that may not be on your list. I went with LeBron Thomas from Vincennes, the only true freshman on the list. For my money, coming into next season, if he returns to junior college, which he may not, but if he does, preseason National Player of the Year talk for Mr. LeBron Thomas. Big point guard that has been the rock again for Vincennes, who's having one of their best seasons, and who they really rally around. And so, tough to make an All-American list as a freshman, especially a true freshman. But for me, LeBron Thomas, he's in there.
He's a good one. And my 8th selection, who I believe is a freshman, I should have fact-checked this, Dior Johnson from Clarendon, 28.2 points a game, 5.4 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 37 from three, and 84% from the free throw line. His on-the-court performance, in the 16 games was too good for me to ignore. I had to put him on the list.
Had to do it. Had to do it. I did not go with Dior. So we're going to pivot again, and we're going to go to, one of this show's favorite players, Trevion LeBeau from Indian Hills. Not only an All-American, but just an all-everything guy. Just does all the stuff. And when he does all the stuff, that leads to winning. Indian Hills, like we talked about, 13 wins against ranked or receiving votes teams this year, tops in the country, and he is a huge part of that. Big shout out to Indian Hills for finding a way to hold it down while he's been hurt. Hopefully we'll see him back here soon, but Trevion LeBeau, without him this season, Indian Hills is definitely on the outside looking in.
And Trevion LeBeau is a unanimous JUCO Jam selection because he was my next person that I was going to talk about. And he's averaging a double-double, which is really hard to do. 13.6 points and 10.1 rebounds. And then my final selection, Jeff Nwankwo from Cali, 17.7 points a game, 7.8 rebounds, 35% from three, 76% from the free throw line. Do you have Mr. Nwankwo on your list?
I mean, let's be honest. If there was anything in life that's guaranteed, it's that this was going to be a JUCO Jam unanimous All-American selection. There's no secret that he's one of you and I's favorite players this year, who happens to be on a very good team. He's a special athlete. He's an awesome kid. Got his start playing football at Tulane as a freshman, which is a super cool story in the NJCAA, giving somebody like him an opportunity to make a pivot in his life. So yeah, absolutely.
And I think we identify with him because we have very similar physiques.
Yeah. Like when I kind of just, go like this, and I look down at those triceps, I go, I bet that's what Jeff's look like.
Yeah.
I think that all the time. So, unanimous, and I've got
You got one. Yeah,
one more. It's my 10th one. This is my 10th one.
Yes.
So there is one more here for me, and that's LeJay Jones. LeJay,
yes.
Jones from Barton was my final, and again in no order, selection for All-American. I, obviously love him as a player. Statistically, he's killing it. But I just felt like every time we started talking about Barton to begin the season, and man, they sure seem really good. And they sure seem really good. When is it going to catch up with them that Mose, was injured and just not unfortunately able to be quite himself? How are they going to survive? And it just kept coming back to Leger Jones, and they are now currently sitting as the number one team in the country. And for me, that says I'm an All-American.
15.5 points a game, 9 rebounds, 39% from three, 74% from the free throw line. He's had a terrific year. All right. Quick recap. We have 6 unanimous JUCO Jam All-Americans. Owen Aquino, Amar Aguilar, Malik Ewan, Josue Grion, Travion LeBeau, Jeff Nwankwo. Are you prepared to do a honey chipotle chicken crisper JUCO Jam National Player of the Year? Are you ready to appoint someone?
I feel like you and I are on the same page with this.
Just like a,
I think
Yeah.
you and I are on the same page here.
and I'll say it first. I'll say it first, and then you
Good.
can publicly reprimand me if it's not what you were thinking.
Yeah.
I think the big crisper is Owen Aquino. I think they play in the toughest conference and the toughest region of the country. And I feel like he's been the best player in that region. And he does it all. He's got a little bit of everything going for you. He is the prototypical point forward. And I would name him as my big crisper.
We didn't have a unanimous big crisper here, unfortunately. So do we give out 2 crispers?
This is more like a triple dipper situation. I think we're
A
headed
triple dipper situation. Maybe look, we can organize on the fly here. I think we could go triple dipper.
Okay.
Right.
Who do we have? Who do we have?
I think I thought maybe we would be unanimous, but I think we agree on the top 3. I do think we agree on the top 3.
Okay, give me your top 3.
So my selection was going to be Malik Ewan.
Okay.
South Plains. For the vast majority of the season, and still up for argument as to whether or not they still should be the number one team in the country. Malik Ewan has been the stick that stirs the drink, which is what I said about Owen earlier, I guess.
But kind of similar in a lot of ways.
Jabari McGee is a phenomenal player, and if there was 11 of these spots, then Jabari's absolutely in. But if I'm saying, who is the guy on the team that is, without him, we're not talking about them like we have been. It's Malik Ewan. So he was my selection, and the other 2 that I really struggled with were Owen and Jeff Nwankwo from Cali. That was my triple dipper.
So there we have it. We have a triple dipper situation. Those are our 3. It's the triple dipper. And we had 6 unanimous selections. I think that's really, really impressive. We had a total of 14 players on our All-American team. So congrats to everyone who was named. We know there are, literally dozens of additional awesome junior college players. This was just something that we did for fun, try to bring some extra attention to some of the great seasons that these young men had. Stay with us when we return. Our 6th man. Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are now going to give our closing thoughts. We call it the sixth man. Brandon, this is coming to an end, right, of our second season doing this together. We spend a full hour every week together doing the show, plus countless hours of prep that happens kind of behind the scenes. And this would never have happened without the NJCAA support, number one. But more importantly, Alexa Wesselman, who has been our sixth man, our coach, the general manager, right? She does it all. She's the one that does all the graphics. She's the one that makes all of this work. She is moving on, advancing in her career to bigger and better things. I don't know if that could be better than JUCO Jam. That seems
I was gonna say it's
hard to
different.
believe. She's doing something different.
Doing something different. So let's.
She will always be a JUCO Jam fan at heart. But we just wanted to say thank you to Alexa. We hope that everyone has been able to enjoy the show over the past couple of years, and the show is better because of her. So we just want to appreciate all of her commitment to the show and all of her hard work.
Yeah, my experience in this industry and in other things is people kind of think that creative things are easy. You push a button and it does the thing and whatever. Very much not true. It takes really, really, really talented, smart people in the background to really make all that come together. And for us, that's our Alexa, our sixth man in our hearts, and we are absolutely going to miss her. Show will not be the same without her, but we shall find a way to persevere and continue to bring everybody the latest thoughts from our addled brains about about junior college basketball. But we absolutely will miss our dear friend Alexa, and wish her nothing but the best going forward.
Alexa, we love you. We wish you the best. Brandon, let's have a great week of junior college basketball. We got final week of regular season for some conferences, beginning of region tournament. It's going to be the junior college basketball season we deserve. So I'm excited to see how this goes down the stretch. Have a great week, and we'll do it again same time next week.